This is a story that shifts quickly from a factory shutdown to a rethinking of the entire future of industrial production. It passes through corporate malpractice, real estate speculation, threats of job loss, protests, and struggles for worker control, all the way through to how worker movements can lead visions for social ecological transformation. There are almost no videos about this in English on YouTube, so I thought it was worth documenting how things stand in 2024. The GKN auto parts factory in Florence, Italy, has been occupied by its workers for almost 3 years now. It's Italy's longest ever factory occupation. Formerly owned by the car brand Fiat, on July 9, 2021, workers were informed by email that all 422 of them were to be fired by the British investment fund Melrose Industries. By all accounts, this was a relatively modern, effective and profitable factory, but perhaps just not profitable enough for the investment fund. Luckily, the factory had a history of successful grassroots union organising, and workers have undertaken what is called permanent assembly in the Italian workers' movement, with workers occupying and guarding the premises 24 hours a day, in part to stop valuable machinery from being removed and sold. Amidst crisis and uncertainty, new ownership took over in December of 2021, but despite flowery words to the contrary, retained the plan of firing the workers anyway, and most likely stripping the factory of its valuable machinery. In the meantime, wages remained unpaid. The Italian Labour Court has since granted injunctions for the payment of overdue wages, but the struggle goes on. This situation again shows the inequities under capitalism. As one worker put it, "If I don't pay my bills, the next day they'll cut off my electricity, and yet when I haven't been paid for 6 months, even if the court agrees with me, I don't get a single euro." A large and vibrant solidarity movement has sprung up around the plant, under the slogan, "Let's Rise Up," aiming to prevent it from being just another case of corporate greed taking priority over workers' livelihoods. Hinting at the types of coalitions which are possible in the face of corporate excess, the workers received huge support from the wider public. Solidarity marches of up to 40,000 people took place, and interestingly, the movement included participation from the climate movement, including Italian Fridays for Future. And this is where things get really interesting. As researchers note, what makes the GKN Florence dispute really unique is the strategy adopted by the workers, who sealed an alliance with the climate justice movement by drafting a conversion plan for sustainable public transport and demanding its adoption. Through a large participatory process, mapping the factory's machinery, assets and layout, the workers came up with an alternative production plan, the plan for a public hub for sustainable mobility, to produce cargo bikes and solar panels, among other items which they see as a more appropriate and viable way of making a livelihood than components for the automotive industry. They have been fundraising to get the factory into worker hands and get production underway. The first catalogue of cargo bikes has been published, designed and built under worker control, and paving the way for sustainable public mobility. As the collective's website makes clear, they see these bikes as part of a broader transition. Cargo bikes are a piece of the future, not only for the reconversion of an automotive factory, but also for a new urban mobility and in general for the ecological transition. Other ideas for interim mutualist projects and micro-production have included a worker-owned brewery. What has resulted is an industrial plan from below, with the aim of giving back to the territory the jobs that were destroyed, creating a socially integrated factory at the service of the community that defend it, restarting with an ecologically advanced production. As the automotive industry, and fossil industries of all kinds, are to be wound down in the face of climate crisis, and as working conditions are being attacked amidst deindustrialization in particular countries, GKN gives some hints at what form a radical just transition away from fossil fuels could take. The workers are continuing their journey towards a buyout, which in Italy is facilitated by the 1985 Marcora law, which provides for public funds to safeguard workers affected by attempts at industrial relocation or liquidation, and who intend to take over ownership in a cooperative structure. As the workers have written, after 1.5 years of permanent Works Council assembly, many struggles, hopes and disappointments, and after being without wages for 5 months, we have no choice but to take over our former GKN factory in self-management. Supported by a local ethical bank, the Banca Etica, as well as Fridays for Future Italia, the workers have so far raised hundreds of thousands of euros in solidarity shares, aimed at citizens, associations, workers, trade unions and others. The aim is to create Italy's first community and non-profit factory. As the movement states, with the popular shareholding, a unique experiment will be created. Citizens of Florence and its province will be able to sit in the same assembly as international climate and social movements, renewable energy communities, associations, etc. Another form of supporting will be in so-called product crowdfunding, where the new recovered workers' enterprises take orders in advance. The workers have also been organising self-education activities engaging with the public. For instance, around the time this video comes out, they are organising another working class literature festival. If radical economic thinkers want to look for pathways to worker ownership of the means of production, perhaps this could be a good place to start. What the Factory Collective has understood is that by going on the counterattack, showing the transformative potential of workers' knowledge and of organising a heterogeneous working class, the meaning of this dispute can be reversed. If they don't pass here, they don't pass anywhere. If we start winning here, we can win everywhere. In one interview, a worker concluded, "We need to understand well that the enemy's weapons are many. Among them, there is leaving us without pay, to lead us to the spontaneous dismissal, to divide us. We will not fall for this petty trick. We will not give up. We will succeed. And this will give the green light to many workers who, when they are put out of the gate, will make a much more radical choice. If GKN has done it, why can't we?" So I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Have you heard of the GKN struggle? And what do you think can be learned from their attempts? And if you'd like to learn more about how you could support the workers in their struggle, I've left some links in the description. And thank you for watching. If you liked what you saw, subscribe and have a look around elsewhere on the channel. And if you have any ability to keep this channel going through pledging on Patreon, that would be really appreciated.